Who should Central Coast Mariners sign heading into the 2025-26 A-League men's campaign? We're going to be running through 10 players who I think the Mariners should go for. I'd love to hear from you guys if you guys have any suggestions in terms of who the Mariners should sign for the upcoming campaign. Now, we should preface this by saying that a lot has been spoken about online in regards to Central Coast Mariners and what's going to happen in the transfer market. We haven't heard much yet. Hopefully the ownership situation and all that gets sorted out and we can build a team for next season. Starting off with defenders, I'm highlighting Aaron Calver. Aaron Calver, 29 years of age now. A-League fans will be familiar with the name Aaron Calver. Previously spent time at Sydney FC, Western United, and Perth Glory. Spent the last few seasons over in South Korea, now without a club. I think it would be a decent pickup and a fairly, I think, realistic pickup for Central Coast Mariners. Now, the centre-back position is, I think, one we do need to strengthen. We were poor defensively last season, but obviously the departure of Brian Kaltak is a big one. Having said that, I am certainly open to our centre-back partnership being Trent Sainsbury and Nathan Paul. You've obviously got the experience of Sainsbury there and the quality that he brings. And Nathan Paul, who I'm a big fan of, I think he's still got a really bright future, and I think he's just going to get better and better the more games he plays for the Yellow and Navy. So I wouldn't mind that being our starting centre-back partnership. Diesel Harrington provides another younger option there as well. But Aaron Calver, a decent amount of experience now, a bunch of experience in the A-League system. That experience will be really valuable, those years that he did spend recently over in South Korea as well. So I think he would be a really decent pickup for the Mariners to slot into the back line. Tomislav Machela. Machela spent last season at Perth Glory, 34 years of age now. Also spent some time at Western Sydney Wanderers in the past. He also won the Premier's Plate with Perth Glory back in 2019 as well. He's a tall, strong defender, brings a whole lot of experience, and I think he would be a decent replacement for Brian Kaltak. And a partnership between him and Sainsbury, that would be a strong, experienced partnership in the centre of defence. At the time of this recording, Machela is off contract at Perth Glory, and I'm not sure if he'll get a new contract, considering at Perth Glory they themselves have signed Brian Kaltak as well as Scott Wootton from Wellington Phoenix, so they've brought in a couple central defenders there. So that could open the door for maybe Machela to come the other way, head over to Central Coast Mariners. I think it would be a good signing for Mariners. And the final defender that I want to highlight, and this is maybe a slightly less realistic one, it is Curtis Good. Has spent a lot of time in the A-League system, notably at Melbourne City. Recently played at Buriram United. In fact, played against Central Coast Mariners last season in the Asian Champions League Elite as well. 32 years of age now, the former Socceroo. Curtis Good is a top centre-back. I really rate him. When he was at Melbourne City, he was one of the best defenders in the league for me. Left-sided centre-back as well, left-footed player, so I think that would be a decent balance playing alongside Trent Sainsbury. Curtis Good, again, maybe a less realistic signing. I think if he was to return to the A-League, he'd probably be tempted to go to one of the bigger clubs, you know what I mean? Whether it is Melbourne City or even, someone like Sydney FC. Whether he could make a late push for the Socceroos squad. I mean, Central Coast Mariners can offer him regular game time. I'm sure if Curtis Good was to come to the Central Coast, he would certainly be a starter for our side, and that would be a strong signing. But again, I think out of all those defenders, probably the least realistic one. I've got three midfielders that I want to highlight that I think Mariners should go for this offseason. The first one is Fabian Monge, 24-year-old who has recently departed Melbourne Victory. He was at Victory for the last couple seasons. Fabian Monge, he's from Sydney, and I think he would be a really decent signing. Again, one of these players who was just struggling to get regular, consistent minutes in the starting lineup at Melbourne Victory, but when he did feature, he looked really, really solid, and I think that central midfield position is one that we do have to strengthen. Alfie McCalmont is off contract, so he could be departing the club. That leaves our options in the centre of the park: Harry Steele, Hayne Ames, obviously Brad Tapp returning from injury as well. I think we need at least one more player there, and I think Fabian Monge could be that guy to come in and really flourish at Central Coast Mariners. Again, we saw glimpses of his quality at Melbourne Victory, but I think if he came to the coast, he would get consistent minutes, more regular minutes, and I think he could really flourish on the coast. My next midfield player that I want to highlight, rumoured to join MacArthur SC at the moment, but it is former Central Coast Mariner, Anthony Caceres. I wonder what you guys think of this one. I mean, Anthony Caceres, 32 years of age now, Anthony Caceres, but I think the thing that we could utilise to tempt Caceres back to the coast is the consistent game time. He's a top player, Anthony Caceres. He's been great at Sydney FC in recent years, and obviously his good form has earned him a Socceroos call-up now. Tony Popovich has included him in some recent squads, and if he was to come to the coast, he would certainly be one of our star players. Not only is there that appeal of getting regular minutes, but he would really strengthen our squad. I think we maybe lacked that kind of player, Anthony Caceres, who's really dangerous going forward. He's great on the ball, whether he does play further up the pitch in a number 10 role, a little bit deeper. For Sydney FC, he even spent some time playing out wide on the left-hand side as well, so he provides that versatility, that experience, Anthony Caceres. And of course, we shouldn't forget, he started his A-League career with the Central Coast Mariners, so who knows, maybe he could come back and finish his A-League career with the Central Coast Mariners as well. Having said that, I'm sure Anthony Caceres has many more strong years ahead of him. That would be a top signing for the Mariners, but again, he could be heading to the Bulls. The final midfielder that I want to highlight is Charles Mombois. 27 years of age now, Charles Mombois, central midfielder, quite a versatile player as well, can play as a defense midfielder or as a more attacking midfielder as well, very mobile midfielder, and again, I think is a realistic option to help strengthen our midfield. And of course, has spent time at the club before. He came through the Mariners Academy many years ago now. He spent time at MacArthur FC and a short stint at Newcastle Jets last season as well. I think he would really strengthen the Mariners midfield, a decent option for the club to look at. Now time to talk about the forwards. There's some players here that I'm really excited about. Would love to see the Mariners go for some of these options. The first one that I want to highlight, and this I think is the player out of this whole list that I would love to see Mariners sign the most out of all these players, and it's Jaden Kaczarski from Sydney FC. He was at the Sky Blues for the last few years now and sort of struggled to break into the A-League team. He was featuring quite a lot off the bench last season, but really limited for minutes, and it's what we see a lot, especially at some of the bigger clubs in the A-Leagues. He was just unable to make a break through Sydney FC, but I really rate Jaden Kaczarski. He scored a cracking goal early on last season away to Brisbane Roar. When he does get his opportunity on the field, he usually delivers. Just 22 years of age as well. Again, another key example of a player who I think with regular starting minutes could really sort of unlock his potential and really help his development going forward. And I think Mariners could be the place to do that. Look, we do know that we need to strengthen midfield. In the centre back role, we know Brian Kaltak has departed, but I think the striker position, we need to bring someone else in. That was obviously a department we struggled so much in last season. Look, Alu Kowal, Ryan Emerson, great options. Nico Duarte, another youngster coming through, but we clearly need someone else there to partner those guys up top. And I think Jaden Kaczarski could be the one. He's an electric player, drives forward with pace, fantastic finishing ability as well. And at just 20 years of age, fantastic potential for the Mariners. The next option is Bernardo Oliveira. 21 years of age. He's a winger from MacArthur FC. Came through at Adelaide United as well. Struggled with injuries in the last couple of years. Was unable to make an impact for the Bulls last season. But another one of these really top talents who I remember when he was coming through at Adelaide at A-League level looked really exciting, man. Still so young at just 21 years of age. Play with enormous potential. And again, to provide something different in the wide areas going forward, which again, I think we need to strengthen as well. We need to find more options in those wide areas. And Bernardo Oliveira could be a really exciting option. I could see him playing off either wing, whether it's the left or the right-hand side. Bernardo Oliveira could be an option if MacArthur don't re-sign him for the next year. And we're staying at the Bulls for our next signing as well. It's Dean Bosniak, just 18 years of age. He featured in the Young Socceroos Asian Cup campaign, of course, the under-20s winning the Asian Cup earlier this year. Dean Bosniak was part of that squad. He's featured here and there for the team, but a player with, again, enormous potential. We're highlighting a lot of younger players here, obviously, as well. And this is the youngest one on this list, Dean Bosniak. He can play as a striker or even play out wide as well. I think he would be a really decent option for the Mariners to provide another, versatile option in the final third of the field as well. And the final option that I want to highlight, and this, I guess, is a little bit of a fun one. I don't know if I could necessarily see this happening, but hey, if it did come off in the end, it would be absolutely fantastic. Garang Kowal. Could the Mariners bring him back on loan? And look, I tell you what, as we know, he was over at Newcastle United. He's been there for the last few seasons. Had a loan spell over at the Netherlands a couple of seasons back as well. There was rumours, I remember, I think last year that MacArthur FC were even interested in bringing him in as well. Wouldn't it be a great signing for Kowal to return to the Mariners, even just on a loan move? He's 20 years of age now, Garang Kowal. And of course, as we know, we should highlight for so many of these players as well, the World Cup in just under 12 months' time. Garang Kowal, we know he was part of that 2022 World Cup squad. It's so competitive at the moment, the Socceroos squad, especially when you look at the wide positions. Garang Kowal needs to be playing regular football, getting regular minutes, scoring goals if he's going to attract any interest from Socceroos head coach Tony Popovich. He will get regular minutes, and I'm sure the goals and assists will flow for Garang Kowal if he returns to the Central Coast. And obviously he's got that familiar environment. He knows what it's like at the club. Obviously so many players have left since then, but for Garang Kowal to return, I mean, that would just be so exciting for the the fans, man. I mean, imagine if it actually did happen. Garang Kuol there at Industry Group Stadium running down the wing. It would just be a fantastic sight to see. To help his development, to just give him more minutes, to get the goals flowing for him. I think it would be a good move for Garang, and it would obviously be a phenomenal move for Central Coast Mariners as well. Will it happen? Look, it's probably unlikely, but hey, we'd love to see Garang Kuol back on loan at the Mariners this year. So there's some options that I'd love to see the Mariners go for in this off-season. We'll certainly keep an eye on what happens in the transfer department for Central Coast Mariners. If you guys have any ideas or options, feel free to throw it in the comments section. Make sure to stay subscribed for more Mariners content right here on the channel with me, Lockie. Thanks very much for tuning in. Hit the like button on the way out, and I'll see you in the next one.